All right, everybody, welcome back to Unscripted from my studios, my Jerseys of Hope studios. And this is a special day. I don't know. I've been waiting on this one for many weeks because my guest mama was my BFF in high school. So, Kira, can you just introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everybody. It is a dream and a gift to be here talking with the beautiful Erin. I am Mama Vicky's. I'm her daughter. I do a little bit of everything in the arts field. I dance, I sing, I write music, play music, all the fun things, and I can't wait to dive into it and share a little bit about what I do.
I can't wait either. I literally have waited for weeks, and it's just so special. Like it's so weird to me. It's so cool and special, and so I got to meet you just a few short weeks ago.
Yes.
Stay at your house with your family, and we just happened to be in Raleigh, and well, we were in Chapel Hill, which
Mhm.
is the better part of North Carolina. Shout out NC State for their tournament run. I know y'all are watching, but
Yes.
no, it was awesome. It was just so cool to meet you guys and see how my BFF's family lives now.
Hmm.
It's just so weird. It was so cool, but
Hmm.
I couldn't wait to meet you and talk to you and just get you on today and have you talk about your music first of all. So there's one particular song. I know you already know which one it is. But anyway, so all right, let's start at the beginning. Like when there's so much you're involved in, like you just said, dance.
Yeah.
So just tell me about you.
Okay. Oh, this is so fun. I love it. Let's see. Going back, I probably started having an interest in music. Probably, I'm honestly since I can remember, just because my dad is so musically driven and musically inclined and all that fun stuff. Anytime that he was at home and not taking care of things around the house, he would be playing his guitar. So music was always like in my life. I would say I first had interest in sort of taking it up probably when I was around 11 with like guitar lessons. And I've written little songs like here and there when I was young. So it was never something that was, oh, okay, all of a sudden I'm going to start doing this. It was always sort of something that was in my world and something I had a natural leaning to. And then as time went on, you just more guitar lessons, different people I've learned from, exposure to different types of music, and it's just all grown and grown and grown into the sort of passion and expression of what it is now.
I want to dive into the music in a minute, but I also want
Yes.
to let me start here. Y'all are like, you have traveled the world, you've done
Hmm.
amazing things. Um, I believe your dad wrote a blog post, I think was about you,
I think
right?
so.
Right.
I think
All right.
so.
So okay, we have a lot to unpack. Okay. So let's start at the beginning. Y'all have traveled quite a bit. So what's your
Yes.
earliest memories? You have been around the world. You literally have been around the world, which is
Yes.
so awesome. You guys are just, you have had so many experiences
Hmm.
so far in life that many people will never have the opportunity to do. So just talk about, can you talk about your family and just the experiences you've had, the places you've been? I know that's a really loaded question, but yeah.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. So, kind of taking it back a little bit further than the actual travel, my family started homeschooling when I was going in the third grade, and I graduated through online school, so that's stayed. And the intention of we had a lot of different reasons for starting to homeschool, but one was so that we could have a flexible schedule to go and do all those amazing things and see the world and be able to like not oh sorry, my light just fell. Not have like too many like tardies or too many lates or too many whatever. We really got to do what we wanted to do. And on our opinion, like you learn so much by going and seeing too. So it was also kind of part of our education. But yeah, it's always been really, really important to us. We've done road trips to like all sorts of different places since we were young, and then that eventually, graduated and elevated to going to Italy and Iceland and seeing all these amazing places. And it's taught like my family, it taught me a lot as a person, but then also as an artist. And I think it really, really helped my family. We're all so different as much as we are
Mhm.
similar. It really, really helped us learn how to be in coexistence to one another and support each other and be able to work together in those times of being out of the country and discovering new things.
To not be tethered, right? Like I think
Hmm.
we live a very tethered life. Like we all have
Mm.
our jobs and we do our things. To not be tethered, I love that so much. I really do. What was your favorite place you've ever been?
Oh, God. So many places for so many different reasons. I'd say overall, maybe Florence, Italy, I think. It
Yeah.
was like when you walked down the streets, there's just art everywhere and you could feel it like in your heart and in your bones and your soul. Yeah, it was like a very personally fulfilling and inspiring place to be able to walk through and experience.
I have friends that have played softball in Italy, and they loved how just everybody, they don't work for a common goal. They work for the day, and then
Mm,
they take time, and when they eat a meal, it's a
hmm.
meal. Like they take time,
Right.
they press pause, they spend in time intentionally together. Did you find that when you were there?
I mean, honestly, that sort of value has translated over into our family
I
for
love
since I
it.
can remember. Like dinner has always been a thing that's like we sit down, around our table. We have a table that has like so many stains on it, like paint stains from art projects, food, scratches on it, but we don't want to get rid of it because that's what we've grown up. We've grown up around that table and we've learned so much about ourselves, about each other, and we've had so many emotional exchanges around that table. It's like dinner has always been a really, really and food like dinner activities together have always been a very sacred part of our family. So it was nice going over and kind of being in Europe just to see how much more intentional it was. It felt very intuitive and it felt very like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is really nice that everyone is sort of seeing this as a special occasion.
So we don't have the benefit of that as many families. We just know the American way. We just know what we
Mhm.
do, right? We rinse, repeat every single day. So I have to
Mhm.
think that your travels have because again, being at your home, there was so many creative ideas. It was like
Mhm.
that house just oozed creativity, you know.
Yeah.
And so I want to get into the music too, but I have to think that your experiences traveling the world and seeing not just how we do things, but how the
Mhm.
world does things. Do you feel like
Yes.
that's like all of those things have kind of been incorporated into how you all were raised?
Oh, yes, absolutely, 100%. We have pieces of, like, where we've traveled in random places in our house, whether it's, like, a statue or a motto or, like, a photo we've, like, idolized or cutlery that we have or different types of dishes. Like, there's different types of pieces of culture that we'll take and sort of incorporate into our home and into our everyday activities, and our lifestyle just to sort of keep that reminder of intention
Intentionality. I
thank
think
you.
maybe. I don't know.
It's like,
I
that's
went
a
to
lot of
Bedford,
L's.
I went to Bedford. I don't know. That might not even be a word. I don't know.
You get what I'm saying, though,
I do.
that intentional way of life.
Right. Thank you. There you go. Seriously, y'all have become big basketball fans too. You have a sister that goes to the University of
Yes,
North Carolina, and
the
so it's been
UNC.
so fun. Just
Yes,
sharing the tournament with y'all. I'm sorry our guys didn't win. It happens. It
it
happens. Welcome
happens,
to
it
being a
happens.
UNC fan. But they do win more than they lose.
Mhm,
So anyway, but it's been fun. It's been so fun. And so,
yeah,
how has that experience been? You have a sister that's at UNC. You have another
yes.
sister that is a swimmer. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, how is it? How is
yeah.
it living with sisters?
It's it's a great time, and another thing to just, like, add on top of everything too, it's like we're all so different, like, we're kind of
Yeah,
labeled as, like, I'm, like, the more artistic one, Kamiko, my younger sibling she's, like, an athlete, she loves swimming, all that fun stuff, and then my older sibling is, like, heavy into academics and all that fun stuff, so we're all very different, and I think we bump heads a lot for sure.
right, right.
From day-to-day life to how we see things and on travel too, especially as we've grown up and sort of been able to form our own opinions. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's like built-in best friends. I was thinking about it this morning, and I'm just so thankful to have. And even like when Kaya not being home right now, my older sibling, it feels like you can feel that the house is like missing something, and when they're back home, it feels complete. It's like
Yeah.
this sacred circle that we like to call it. That's it's just a strong connection. It just feels like we're best friends.
I love that because I always say there's a disruption in the force because I'm a dad. So when the kids aren't home, it's the same thing.
Mhm.
There's this disruption in the force. Like it's not
Right.
complete until everybody's home and they all come back home. But okay. So I have to ask one question. You might not even know this answer. Many years ago, we were in Outer Banks. And
Okay.
so I was texting with your mom, and you all were going to meet us, and there was something called I don't know. It was in Outer Banks. It was this outdoor. Um, like production. Okay. But somebody had a bike accident and like broke several teeth.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I'm
that
talking about?
was
Because so
I
y'all
do
ended up
know.
giving us the tickets and we went and so here's the thing. We would have never gone to that, but
Uh-huh.
because your mom gave us the tickets, that's an experience that you all as a family, that's what I'm saying. Like you've gone outside, you've done these amazing things.
Right.
You've experienced this very cool stuff. Honestly, when she told me about it, I was like, okay, it'll be kind of cool. But we had such a good time. It was
Oh,
incredible. And I
good,
wish we could have
good.
gone with y'all, but who had the bike accident?
My older sibling.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember pieces of it. We were riding bikes and then fell down,
Yeah.
ouchies, oh crap, my tooth is no longer together, and so
Yeah.
it's a great time.
It was bad. Apparently, it was really bad. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's so random, and I'm not sure anybody that listens cares about this. But anyway, it's just some history, between our families, and we were forever thankful to go to that. I
Mhm.
wish I could remember what it was called, but I don't. But it was really cool. It was really, really
Mhm.
cool. So if you ever get a chance and you're in Outer Banks, go to that outdoor production because it was really cool. Okay, let's talk music.
Okay.
I think you touched on this a little bit. When did you know, like, this is my jam, this is what I want to do?
Probably, like, when I was 11, 12, I think is when I started kind of getting heavily interested in it, and I was like, "Oh, this is easier for me to express how I'm feeling than talking." Like, it's just always sort of felt like the way to process emotions, to process experiences was to cultivate these stories and songs around them. So I'd say, yeah, 10, 11, 12-ish.
Did you start listening to like, I assume you listened to music and that's what triggered that in you, or how did you find that?
I mean, I would say when I'm so young, it's like you don't really like you listen to like Katy Perry and whatever's on. But I would say my dad really was a catalyst of sort of he'd be like, "Oh, Kira, you have to listen to this song." And it's like Guns N' Roses, and I'm like 10, and I'm like, "Yeah."
Rock on, right? Rock on
Right,
living. That's
exactly.
right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, listening sort of like different pieces of music from the different places that I went, whether it was like the dance studio or from my dad or whatever was playing on the radio, what my friends were listening to when we were young. Yeah.
Was it listening or hearing? Because there's a difference.
There is a difference. I would say trying to understand. So really, really diving in and kind of piecing apart the lyrics, piecing apart, why the drum line is there, how it supports the bass line, why is this, all that type of stuff. Really, really diving in and understanding like the whys and the mechanics of why this song is so emotional or why it hits me so hard.
First of all, who's your favorite artist
Oh God, that's so hard.
or top five?
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do top five in
Let's go top
not
five.
specific order. Let's see, top five. And it sort of changes obviously from the season of life I'm in, but I'd say right now, I'm getting a lot of inspiration from Amy Winehouse. I've recently sort of dived into her story, beautiful, inspirational, gorgeous. Lana Del Rey is another big one. I think what she's doing is beautiful. Obviously, Billie Eilish, a trailblazer for a lot of modern music. Um, Troye Sivan, I'd say he's like a club pop dance artist. He's Australian. He's given me a lot of inspiration. And hmm,
I'm still laughing at
thinking.
that. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh God, I don't know. I think that's top four. We'll do a solid top four.
All right, solid top four. Have you drawn inspiration from the 80s?
Yes.
Asking for a friend.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes, for sure. From music that my dad has played, and I do have a good amount of 80s, 70s sort of era music on my playlist that I like to jam out to. And it's making a comeback too, I think, in a lot of more pop mainstream music now, which is really exciting.
It all does really return, and I'm going to talk about my favorite song in a minute. But when you sat down, so lyrically, how do you write a song? Is it poetry, and then you work with? You just talked about drumline and all those other things, because I've always been fascinated by this. Because, like, did Michael Jackson just sit down and write? I don't know. I really don't. And that's why I'm asking an artist that is emerging. Do you write? Do you just sit down and put all your thoughts on paper, and then seek someone that can somehow collect that, or can you do both? I don't.
Hmm.
That's a really loaded question again, but I'm just curious.
Yes, 100%. Honestly, this might be kind of like a cliche artist answer, but every single song is different and every
Hmm.
single song sort of calls for something different. So sometimes, for instance, a song will come and let's say like just for instance, my producer will have like a track that he'll really like. He's like, "Hey, if this inspires you, you can write on top of it and see what you come up with." And sometimes I'll take the inspiration from the music that's already there and be like, "Wow, okay, this is sort of giving me this vibes. Let me think about these words, these kind of these colors, like kind of get inspiration from the music." And then sometimes it'll be like it'll come from I'll be journaling and I'll be on fire. I'll be like, and then I'll reflect on it later and
Yeah.
see a line that I'm like, oh, maybe that kind of sums up how I felt. Let me try to expand upon that. Sometimes it's poems, sometimes it's a picture that kind of inspiration inspires words to come. So words come from a whole bunch of different places. And sometimes it's not always how a song is started too.
So I had a blog for a while, and occasionally I still do it, but I think sometimes I found myself writing what I was going through, you know, a
Hmm.
family event, a moment in our family. I would try to write that. I didn't write that for somebody else. I almost wrote it for myself.
Hmm.
But people would relate to it if I shared it.
Right.
But there was times where I did find, this is when I started to get out of blogging, was when I started to feel like I was writing so that other people could appreciate something that I wrote. Do you understand? Does that
Mm.
make sense? As
Yes.
you know, have you found that in music? Like, have you tried to? Does an artist sit down and say, "Okay, let me write a song that's going to be really popular with everybody,"
Mm.
or let me write my heart and
Hmm.
then put that out in the world and see if people like it? Because I
Hmm.
think they're very different. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it makes total sense, 100%. And I think it again varies on the song and sort of varies on whatever project you're working on. I know there are some artists who get kind of their whole thing is like they sing songs other people wrote for them and they're popular because it's a good and it's a catchy and it's a sellable song. And they get popular that way. And there's also a bunch of artists who get popular by just genuinely putting their heart out there and people connect to that. So there's a bunch of different ways, and also some artists, a lot of artists have a combination and fusion of the both, and I do too. There are some songs where I'm like, I don't really connect to this a lot personally, but I know I like it for the world of the song or the aesthetic of the song or the journey of what the song takes you on. It just sort of everything kind of has a different meaning and a different intention and purpose to it. So I'd say it's like a fusion of both.
Completely random, but I just saw your Cassie is in the
Okay.
background. Hi,
Oh
Cassie.
yes, Cassie.
Hi. Hi, Cassie. She there she is. Okay. All right.
There she
Anyway,
is.
all right, back to the so I have a feeling if I'm a country artist, if that's the lane
Mhm.
that I chose, there's a joke that says, you know what happens when you play country music backwards, you get your car back, your wife back, and your pickup truck back. Right? Like that's an old joke. But anyway, dad joke. But you know, if you're in country music, that's it. And I hate the new country music because it's not the
Mhm.
old country music where the country music used to have such a powerful
Mhm.
storytelling.
Mhm.
Now the story is I went out this Saturday, we drove my truck, and I'm not knocking country music because there's a lot of artists I love like Eric Church, people like that. But at the same time, like it's kind of rinse and repeat, you
Mhm.
know? So as an independent artist, have you found a lane? Do you want to be in a lane, or do you want to be able to just express this is who I am. This is what I was going through, as you've said a few times, in the
Mhm.
moment at that
Right.
time. I
Mhm.
think T Swizzle has done that pretty well,
Mhm.
right? She's evolved into very different things. She shares a lot. So like, what do you want to be as an artist?
Oh my, what a question. I love
That's
that.
big time.
Yeah, love it. I'd say like sort of genre related and kind of what I want to build myself up as an artist. I would say not to compare myself to Queen at all in any
Oh,
way whatsoever, but
yeah.
they sort of you could tell they explored genres, they explored instruments, they explored different textures and all that fun stuff, but there was still that underlying heart that you knew it was Queen. And I think that's sort of what was really there's so many amazing things about Queen. But I think that's kind of one of the things that made it so special was they could explore and bend genres, but it was still had the heart and the base of Queen. So I want to do something similar where I want to be able to explore genres and sort of tap into different parts because I think music is so expansive and just labels cut everything shorter. So I think the more I have like the freedom to go and explore, if I want to write a song that sounds like maybe more on the rock end, I can go and do that, or maybe a song that sounds more on like the I don't know more like leaning heavy into like the popular pop music sort of trend. I want to be able to do that. And I feel like I had the facilities to do it. I never want to cut myself off from how a song could sound, but I always want to be able to have that sort of bass and that heartbeat of me in it.
Do you know the name of the book that I'm probably never going to finish, but that I have started? Do you know the name of it?
I don't.
It's Jesus, My Mom, and Freddie Mercury. So,
Love it. Love
well,
it.
you mentioned Queen, so I'm a huge fan. And again, like there's another band. There's a band called DC Talk that started, and they've since broken up. But back in the early days when Christian music, like in the late '80s, they were capturing that rap came out. Like there was
Mm.
a Run DMCs, there was a LL Cool J's. They found this niche and they did that. And then the '90s came, and before you knew it, they were doing stuff that was like Nirvana and very
Mm.
Seattle grungy kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I always appreciated the fact that they continued to evolve with kind of where I don't know the word market, whatever,
Right. Mm-hmm.
where people wanted it to go. But at the same time, like I have to question, like, and I love that because they were very popular because they continued to evolve. They didn't just stay this one lane.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor's done that. Obviously she started in
Mm-hmm.
country and now she's in pop and now she's doing other things. I get that, but at the same time, do you feel like if you were an artist, that it's taken away who you wanted to be in favor of what other people want you to be, or what'll still be popular? Again, that's a very tough question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Huh. Okay. Hold on. Can you repeat that question? I just want to make sure that I am understanding clearly.
Okay, so there was a long build up to it. Welcome to Unscripted. But so let me
Love
ask you, if you started, let's say you have a book of lyrics right now,
it.
and you said your producer says, "Hey, I got this track." Right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
say that track is whatever's popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned Billie Eilish. Okay, so it goes along with this Billie Eilish vibe. What if that's
Okay.
not your vibe, but that's where it's going as an artist that wants to make her mark and
Mm.
leave her mark? I don't know how I'm even trying to ask a question. Do you want to go with that, or do you want to go with what your heart is? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I do understand. I think there's maybe a time and place for both, and I think it sort of depends and differentiates from artist to artist. But for me, and I think right now with my level of freedom that I have over my work and what I get to work on, I have the freedom to be like, no, that's not really what I want to do right
Yeah,
now. That's not
right.
really calling to me. I'm gonna go do this. But I know once you get into like labels and shows and contracts and stuff, it gets much more you're gonna sing this song because you promised us a hit song that's gonna make money, so you're gonna sing this and release it and whatever, even if it's like against what the artist really wants to do or is passionate about. Sometimes you're sort of contract driven or whatever to produce music, because as much as it is an art, a lot of people just see it as an industry too. But for
Yeah,
me, for as long as I can, I want to be able to do what I want and express what I want, how I want it to be done, and have the final stamp of approval on it.
I love that. And here's the thing: I think this goes back to what we originally started talking about with your family. Is
Hmm.
you all have had freedom to be
Hmm.
you,
Hmm.
to go when you want to go, and to do what you want to do. And so I do think this very much relates is the fact that you want to do that as an artist,
Yeah.
because so many artists get in the system, and there is a system, whether we want to admit it or not.
Hmm.
There's a template that
Hmm.
people follow, right?
Right.
And I think you, because of the way that you were raised and the experiences you've had, don't
Hmm.
have to follow that. And I love that for you as an artist, is to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be
For
me,
sure.
and people are going to like it or not.
Hmm.
And also be able to have the freedom, even sometimes financially, to say, you know what,
Hmm.
I'm good. I want to
Right.
stay who I am and true to who I am. I love that. I really do.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So uh, I know I ask you this. I have a favorite song. You already know it. I just feel like it has a certain vibe to it. So, but
Hmm.
all right, give me your favorite song, like that. When you listen to your catalog right now, people can find it on Spotify, Apple. Where else
Yeah.
can they find it? So let's talk about that.
Anywhere. You can find it literally anywhere. Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere, any place at any time.
And your website.
And my website, kiratakei.com. Everything's there.
Can you spell it? Because I'm Just
Yes,
sorry.
absolutely. No, all good. Kiratakei.
Yeah. And okay, so there you go. And we'll do that a couple more times before we get off. But
Perfect.
so now if people go listen to your catalog, just so they know, like this is her favorite, or these are her top 3 favorite. Like, what's
Mhm.
the one song where you're just like, that's my jam? That's the one I love so much. And it's okay if it's not mine, because you know what mine is. But anyway. Seriously.
Um, let's see. I think right now the ones that, okay, so it's fun because when I reflect back on sort of my catalog or the music that I have released now, it's so much different than sort of the music I'm working on now. And that's with everything, as people grow and evolve, you're gonna make new and better things. So a lot of my favorite songs are currently in the works and currently being recorded, but the ones that are out right now, I would say top two. I think my favorite one is Tonight. It's my favorite.
I do like it too.
I like the story that it tells. I like the energy. I like the vibes. I think I like the buildup of it. I like the composition, all that fun stuff. And then my second favorite, I would say, is The Heart of Us. I think it's a very sweetly written song, and I think it all supports itself, I think.
Okay. Mine's Film of Us. Yeah, no shock because it opened the show. People heard it. I don't know why. And I think you told me a little bit of a story behind that one, because when I listened to that one, it reminded me of 80s movies. Like, and
Hmm.
I sent you a list of 80s movies that you have to watch, like Pretty in Pink,
Yes.
Say Anything. It just kind of had this, I don't know. And I felt like it was going to be the closing song in every 80s movie. And I mean that as a huge compliment. If you know how much I love 80s movies, which you probably do, like that's a massive compliment. That's a big moment. It like that's the whole like thing came up to that moment, and that song that hits at the end like ties the whole thing together. That's the big bow.
Hmm.
So, but you told me a story about that. So, how did
Yeah.
Film of Us come up? And I don't mean to diminish the other two because I like those two. I like them all. I really do. I really really do. But
No,
that's the one that
absolutely.
kind of I took a shine to. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's because of that vibe that it had. But you
Hmm.
told me a story that's really cool.
Yeah, Film of Us, actually, it's probably good that that one is your favorite because it has the most, I'd say, kind of roller coastery story and backstory to it. So, my producer, Kevin McNulty, he kind of creates, so he has a whole bunch of sort of like sample tracks and like things that are to be written over. And he played that one for me, and I took a liking to it. And the intention of writing for it was just to send it in for like TV and show placements and stuff like that. So we wanted it to be sort of like very story specific, painted a story, painted a picture, painted a journey, all that fun stuff. So that was the intention at first. And then I took it home, and the more time I spent with it and the more I worked with it, I was like, I'm kind of just eating the song up right now. This
Yeah,
is
it's so
kind of
good.
really good.
Yeah,
So when I came back to the studio and after we sort of finished the words, I was like, Kevin, could we release it under my name?
I
Because I
love it.
kind of really like it. So
Yeah.
that one was fun. It had like a different intention at first, but the more time I spent with it, I took a very strong liking to it, and I loved like the world and the colors and everything that sort of came with the song. And then we released it under my name.
How much time do you spend on this? Because you do
Hmm.
other things too. So I do want to talk about dance in a
Yes.
second. But
Okay.
how much time do you spend just on this part of your career right now? Because I know you get up at like 4 in the morning, and I know right. I mean,
Yeah.
you get up at
Yeah.
4 in the morning, you grab your coffee, and you're
Sure do.
doing a lot of other things in life too. So how much
Yes.
time do you spend on your craft?
Yes. So it's a fun question because to me, I feel like I'm constantly creating, even in having honestly any sort of experience. And I've learned this through music and through dance, like even having this conversation with you, walking my dog, going to the grocery store, whatever, all of those sort of minute experiences that you would think are sort of secondary or autopilot are very well, you're not talking to you as an autopilot, but sort of those
Thanks.
kind of underlying experiences that you have in life.
Yeah.
I feel like I try to take them in as much as possible, and I process them and I reflect on them. It's like you're constantly in the space of bringing inspiration in and sort of cultivating that in your heart, if that makes sense. If I
Yeah.
am walking Cassie, I just take a second to reflect on what I'm doing. I love my dog. This dog is like,
Yeah.
she's going outside. Like, think about the world that she's experiencing right now. So it's constantly, I think, in a state of bringing in material, but I think time spent sort of then fig- clarifying it and sort of translating it onto paper, I would say maybe 2 or 3 hours a day,
Mhm.
ideally, I think, sort of just between journaling, between grabbing my guitar, between like just clarifying my thoughts. I'd say probably 2-ish, 3-ish hours a day, thankfully.
But I love what you said because honestly, it's never off,
Mm-mm.
right? And I know, I mean, I don't even get a chance to write a blog post every time I think of or see something, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly aware. I don't know.
For
It's I
sure.
think I don't know. Maybe it's a superpower, and I'm not. That's not a brag because I think you probably feel this as an artist. I'm not an artist. I can't write a song. Maybe I could. I don't know. I just know I'm constantly aware of
Mm-hmm.
situations that happen, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of see it. Like there's this bulb that comes on that you're like, oh, that I so have to write that story, or
Mm-hmm.
I so have to tell someone about this. And
Mm-hmm.
like, does that make sense? Like you said,
Yeah.
walking your dog, but maybe something happens while you were walking your dog and like, oh, I gotta write that down. Or
Yeah.
I completely see this like song out
Uh-huh.
of this
Yes.
moment. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's what music is
Mm-hmm.
music's great. The beat's great. Like, all genres are
Right.
great. Everything's great. But man, I want to hear a story. I want to
Mm.
hear something that I can connect with. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
I listen. I hear music.
Mm-hmm.
Some people listen to it. It's just background noise.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
want to hear music. I want to hear an artist. You mentioned Amy Winehouse,
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie Raitt. Bonnie Raitt's if I can't make you love me, like I can just list a million songs. There's so many songs that you're just like, oh. There's a country
Uh-huh.
song called "He Stopped Loving Her Today." Have you ever heard that?
I have not. I will though.
Oh my gosh, George Jones. Okay, as soon as we're off, go
Okay.
listen to He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. Many people call
Will
it the
do.
greatest country song ever, and it
Okay.
will literally break your heart when you figure out why he stopped loving her today. Seriously, it's
Okay.
incredibly powerful, but you're like, man, that's not that I want to sit in sadness, but you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I want to feel something
Yeah.
like he stopped loving her today. Like that guy wrote that because and you'll have to go listen to it. And so
I'll find
anybody
out
that
why.
hasn't heard that, if they're listening, go listen to He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, dance. So
Yes.
when when you dance, I have to think those two feed each other. They're not
Yes.
independent of one another. They feed each
Mm-mm.
other. So when you
For
you
sure.
do dance, you've done dance competitions and things. So can you talk to me about
Yes.
dance?
Yes. So dance, goodness. So dance has sort of been, it started as a thing that's like, oh, we're young, we need to get some extracurriculars in, move our bodies a bit, so we'll just put them in dance. And it stuck, thankfully. Thankfully it stuck. So I've been moving my body and dancing since I was like yay high, sort
Yeah.
of like the starter sort of dance that everybody does. And then I'd say I started to get like serious and more aware of it when I was maybe like 13, when I started to have a really, really strong passion for it. And eventually at my dance studio that I now work at, which is really, really cool, CCNCO Dance Complex, I sort
Shout
of
out.
had shout out, whoop, whoop. I
Website.
have
Go ahead. Let's plug it. What's the website?
oh
It's
CC's
okay. Never mind. I can edit. Go ahead.
like
Anyway,
sorry about that one.
it's fine.
Um
Anyway,
like
I'm sorry. You were
no. Good, you're good. I was like, I just website off the top of my head.
oh,
Um,
curveball.
but since then started dancing at CCNCO.
Thank you.
And eventually I started to kind of make my way through all the different sort of levels that they offer. And I ended on the highest one. It's called Core. And then I also was a part of their pre-professional program too for 4 years, I think. So yeah, just sort of my understanding, my appreciation, and my involvement in dance has elevated throughout my years of being alive, and sort of the ending not the ending because it's still going, but at least in my competition high school years, that's finished. And we went to go to conventions where it's like you dance from freaking like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m, then you compete till 11 p.m, and then you wake up and do it all again for another day. It's a great time. It is a whirlwind, but it's like a weekends packed full of dance. I've done performances, all the things across the sun, all the fun things.
Can everybody find everything about you, your socials, all those kind of things on your website? Is that the central hub,
Yes.
or do you want to give all those out too? Because let's give them out. Let's get people to find you and get people behind you and to find you.
Yes. So honestly, I'd say if you go to my website, if you go to my website, everything is on my website. The website is like the hub for all the things. You can get all of like I have blog posts that I update sort of my dance things. I have my dance reels on there. You can I think we'll link a resume at some point. We have all of my music, all of like I also am involved in makeup. I love to do art on my face because it's like a palette. So I'm like, why not just art it
How
up?
about that?
I have all the fun things linked on my website, kiratakei.com, KIRATAKEI.com.
There you go. You're the best. No, you are, and I'm not shocked for a minute. I didn't get the pleasure of meeting your dad because he left like super early that morning.
Yeah.
But they've been such a huge support of me. Obviously, your mom and I were besties in high school, and she's been so good to me. And there's no shock in me that they would raise 3 incredible daughters. I'm serious. And the more that I see what she's done post Bedford High School, there's no shock in me that they would raise 3 amazing daughters. And you're incredible. I love, and your sisters are as well. I mean, one's at UNC, so how could that be wrong? I mean, I'm not picking favorites at all. I'm not. I really am not. I'm just saying, like, and I just, I'm so proud of your family. I really am. And so it was really cool a month ago. I don't know, however long ago it was, to get a minute to stop by the house and just, spend time with you guys and see like, you're exactly what I would have imagined. And I think we live in a TikTok Reels world where people are not what they imagine, right? We put out this product. You're not that. You guys aren't that. You're very real. You're very natural. You're an incredible family. And I know you're going to be successful in life, especially because of the inputs that your parents have made by traveling and making those freedom that we talked about. And your music it's banging. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
I know I have a favorite. I take a shine to one certain song, but I have listened over and over and over again now for weeks. I send you screenshots from my car listening, but no, I'm really proud of you guys. I really am.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm proud of you. No matter what you become and do in life, you're already becoming something. You already are something, but I know you're going to be successful, and I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. My family values you and what you bring so much. Like as soon as you left our house, immediately like everyone was like, I love him so much. Like he's so warm and he's so welcoming and he's so nice. We need to have him back super soon. So we love you and we appreciate you just the same, if not more.
Well, and shout out Miss Emma because she was with us. Princess 1.0 was there, and Emma's the rock star. I was just the driver, but no, she's amazing too, and it was just awesome. We said the same when we left. So we will be back. We will be back soon. I can't wait to see your house in the summer because we were there on a gray, whatever day, but it was still awesome. So y'all are amazing. I'm really proud of you. One last time, where can people find you?
People can find my music anywhere that you can stream music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, YouTube, anywhere under my name, Kira Takei, KIRATAKEI. And you can find all of like my news updates about my Kickstarter that's going to launch soon, my new album coming up, all that fun stuff at my website, which is just kiratakei.com, KIRATAKEI.com.
Okay, last thing. Sorry, one more thing.
Yes.
I've heard through the grapevine that there's the new songs are like incredible, and I might have heard that your dad heard one of them and cried on the spot.
Yeah, I tested some new material at a show. I opened for a neighborhood band. No, I can do this forever. I opened for a neighborhood band, sort of like it was sort of like a in-house sort of show. We invited friends over. It was fun. I did some new material there, and something that I'm really weird about is I don't want people to hear it until I think it's like done. I don't really like sharing things while it's in the process because I'm like, just wait. It can get better. Just wait. So I played some new stuff that my parents had never heard before in my set, and my dad, my mom, and my little sister, because they were the ones there. My older sibling was at college. They started crying immediately.
Yeah.
The new album. computer shook. But the album that I'm working on now, it's sort of all about the transformative years that I've had up until sort of this moment in my life and sort of the threshold between being at home. I've been homeschooled, so being at home, like, I love my home. It's a very sacred place. I love my room. So it's sort of having one foot in that door, one foot out into like this brand new world, and sort of the transition that experiences. It's brightness, it's dark times, it's anxious, it's fun, it's happy, it's exciting, it's all the things. So yeah, it's a very charged, all the songs are very charged, and emotional, but it's exciting.
I can't wait. All right, 2 last questions. Sorry, I keep
Yes.
coming up with more.
No, keep
One,
going.
can you play a bar chord? Because you play the guitar. Can you play a bar
Yes,
chord?
I can.
Actually, 3 questions. 2, can
Okay.
you show me how to play a bar chord? Because I don't know how. I can't. My fingers are fat, and it irritates me. I can't play an F chord for anything, so I have 3 chords in the truth. That's it. There's a guitar hanging back here, and it's worthless because I can only play 3 chords in the truth. So can you teach me how to play bar chords?
Right now in this moment?
No.
Okay,
No.
I was like,
Some point. No, seriously.
yes, at some point. Yes.
Okay, and
Yes,
most
I
people
can.
don't have no idea what we're talking about. But if you've ever tried to play a guitar, you probably know what we're talking about. A bar chord's like
Yes.
the hardest thing ever. Okay, and I forgot what the third question. Oh, will you come back on when the new album comes out?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all right. We'll be your
100%.
official launch place. So I just made that announcement. But no, seriously, we would love to have you back on because I want to hear all about the new album, and I actually want to hear the new album. I want to hear it. And shout out Quinn.
Yes. Yes.
And seriously, so
Yeah, shout out Quinn.
like I said, a little rumor that he might have teared up, and I love that.
Yes. Yeah. It was between us. It wasn't a tear up. It was like just between you and I, with all the people listening right now. It was fountains of tears.
I love it. All right. Well, good for him. And shout out Quinn. I can't wait to meet him too.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. Love you. Love your family. Thank you for
Love
everything. Thanks for coming on. And I can't wait to have you back on to talk about the new album.
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful time we've had together. Thank you so much for being interested in anything that I do ever. You are the kindest soul ever.
Always. All right. Not the kind of soul, but the interested part. Yeah. Always. I appreciate you.